Hello again, everybody, and welcome to the Tom Sawyer Show here on HBC TV 25. We're brought to you by Wellington's Pub and Grill. I'm Justin Barrientos. Thanks for joining us here today. Head coach Tom Sawyer is here, and a disappointing game against Augustana, losing by just 1 point, especially when the Augustana scores with just a few seconds left to go, 40 seconds left to go. First of all, your overall thoughts on the game. I know that there are some things, obviously, that you're probably not happy about, but from a fan's perspective, it was a very entertaining game.
Yeah.
And
well, it's good football. I mean, you're talking about two of the best teams in the league battling. We always battle those guys tough. It's what it is. So I think the football level was really good and fun. Like you said, it was exciting for us. It was exciting for the fans. Yeah, I'm disappointed. Like you said at the beginning, I really feel just horrible for our seniors. Losing their last game at home and also for us, probably getting knocked out of the playoffs and those kind of things. I mean, it was a tough day. So you look at how that all happened, then you just get more frustrated. But at the end of the day, we had to find a way to win, and we just couldn't pull it off. But our guys played their tails off, and they're a motivated group of kids, and very proud of this football team.
Now, as you said, how it happened, I have to ask you about the play where Augustana scores the touchdown. And it appeared from our vantage point that the quarterback had gone over the line of scrimmage, and so that should have been called back. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, it's one of those plays that that you got two people standing on the line of scrimmage that are watching that, and it appeared to me too that the guy was over the line of scrimmage. We sent it in to get reviewed and those kind of things. There's not anything we could do about it, but by rule, if he's past the line of scrimmage and the whole body is passed, by the time I thought he let go of the football, he was past the line of scrimmage. Now, it was only second down, so they still had some time there. But when we're up, we had just scored a touchdown ourselves. We felt like we were in a pretty good place. So there's a couple of those things within the game that really do matter when it comes down to the game. I will never say that it cost us the game. I just say that those are plays that hurt you along the way.
All right, and then one of the other kind of negative things that we have to talk about is Augustana was able to stop you on the run game. For most of the game, it was negative rushing yards, and then you get some towards the end to get into positive yardage, but you were kind of one-dimensional in that game. Kind of talk about that.
Yeah, a couple things. First of all, I think that the scheme they had was very good. They're very good up front. There's the biggest group that we saw all year. I compare them to Sioux Falls and Mankato, and they're right there. They've had a lot of movement, and so I think that our young guys got exposed a little bit, and we just couldn't get couldn't get the rhythm going. Thought our play action pass was good. We hit a couple more of those. All of a sudden, it starts to open up, and it did a little bit more in the second half. But that's frustrating because we do have a good running game. We grew a lot as a program up front, but I do think that. They got us a little bit just in their scheme. They had 9 guys down in the box. That makes you throw the football. Mm-hmm. And we did. We had to change quarterbacks too. Yep. So we went through a quarterback change. So, but I thought that, Sam ran the ball hard when he could, and Landon came in and did a great job as well and got it going a little bit in the second half.
Let's talk about first the quarterback situation where Owen was hit and had to come out of the game, and then John comes in. It's kind of similar to the week before where John had to come in the second half. Tell us a little bit about that, and did it kind of help a little bit that John had that experience of having to come in the week before? Yeah,
I mean, John's a fifth-year senior, smart guy. We have all the confidence in the world in him. So he did fine. Owen came out due to a knee injury. He's been dealing with it for about 3 weeks, and he's just wasn't 100%, but we felt like he was still good enough to go and warmed up and practiced all week, and things were good. So then he did get bent over. There wasn't anything malicious, just happened. And so when John came in, thought he was fine. He threw the ball pretty well. He carried us. So it's nothing about that. It's just, when you change quarterbacks, it does change your offense a little bit.
All right, and then the running game, as you said, Sam Santiago-Lloyd was hurt. What happened to him during the game?
Yeah, he hurt his shoulder a little bit, so he didn't return. But, we got a room full of really good running backs, and Landon jumped right in and did a great job, and Miguel does a nice job as well, and Johnny. But, it hurts because he's just been on a roll lately. But he did hurt his shoulder, and we're anticipating to be back this week. Not 100%, but we'll see. But he's done a nice job all year for us.
All right, and then a recap of the rest of the offense, the passing game. Tell us about your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I think that actually Tyler Anderson really stepped up in the game. He played every snap except one, I believe, in the game. Just a guy that has really worked his tail off the last couple of years to get on the field and then become a significant player within the game. The catch he caught guy was kind of draped on him early in the game, got us in scoring position. So he played very well. I think our tight ends played really well. We didn't get the ball to him as much as we'd like in the football game, but those young guys are really starting to play well. And Jalen Schleicher and Levi Smith are both playing well at the tight end position. So with that, we got everybody back. I mean, so without thinking, putting the season away because we have one left, but all of those kids we're mentioning right now will be back next year as well.
All right, let's talk a little bit about the defense then, because they kind of set the tone early. You had Nick Pridgeon with that interception, go back 95 yards for the touchdown, put you in a good spot early on in the game.
Yeah, he's a big play guy, and they throw the ball well. Sadler's a really good quarterback, and they were heaving up some bombs on us, and we got down the red zone. We shut them down almost every time. So Nick made a nice break on the ball, and when he caught it like that, we knew he was gone. At least I was hoping he didn't pass out along the way, but he made it all the way, 95 yards for the touchdown. And it did, got us excited, got kind of the nerves out of everybody, and we settled in to start playing some football. Guys up front did a great job. Again, big offensive line. We held them in the run game pretty well. They threw the ball a bunch in the first half because they had a bunch of big passes. One time they had a 2-play drive that was about 70 yards. So they just got us on a couple bombs and some penalties, and with that, you just can't avoid trying to get after the quarterback more and more. So that's what we did. But I thought the guys up front did a nice job.
How did the game change for you when Sadler for Augustana had to go out with an injury and Mazzoli came in?
I think it's one is you never want to see anybody get hurt in a football game, but the other part is it's a completely different player. Where John, we don't change our offense a lot because they're the same style of quarterbacks. He's a completely different quarterback. When Sadler went out, we knew that he wanted to run the football a little bit more, and he did. And the quarterback draw and some of those things all of a sudden become, and we were prepared for it.
Yeah.
We changed our game plan as we went, but they changed their tactics as well, and he did still throw up a couple bombs, but he wasn't throwing it every down like Sadler does.
And then special teams, Paul Ortiz, you were saying kind of off camera that you were hoping that you would be able to get a chance to maybe kick a field goal towards the end of the game with just a few seconds left to go. But he was able to convert both on the field goal tries and then the punting and then the kickoffs. Talk about his day. Yeah,
I think he had his best day in the biggest game for his career. He was sharp. He was in focus. I like to say about those guys. It's one of those things where if you give him a shot, you really believe he's going to make it, and he's got a big enough leg. I mean, we give him 60, 65 yarders in practice, and he's made a 49-yarder on the year with ease. So we knew if we could get it into the 40-yard line, I was going to give him a shot. So we were ready at that time. We were getting the ball back with 41 seconds and all 3 timeouts. We had plenty of time. A little pressure on John and he stepped up and threw it, and they picked it. He overthrew the guy, but so that ended the game. But we really thought if we could get really one first down, get about 15 more yards, and we're in striking zone, we would have won the game.
All right, a couple minutes left in this segment. Talk about the seniors because it was Senior Day. We kind of go over this all the time, but your thoughts on? I know it's a disappointing game to kind of end the home season on for Senior Day, but 19 guys that are going to be going away from the program. Yeah,
it's really a sad day. When I watch those guys walk off the field, I can't hardly keep myself together, let alone those guys. I can't imagine what that's like. But when you leave the field of play where you've given so much to the game. And then we got a couple seniors here today to talk about it too. But it's a hard day because they've given so much to our university, to our program, to this community. And I start thinking, kind of big picture on these guys. But then I start celebrating, going, man, we were really lucky to have these 19 guys in our program because every one of them has a different story. But the end story is always the same: as they've given everything they possibly could as an athlete and as a student to Winona State.
All right, we're going to take a break here on the Tom Sawyer Show. We'll talk to one of those seniors. Alex Evans comes up right after this.
With so many new items on the menu at Wellington's Pub and Grill, you're in for some tough decisions. 6 different salads, homemade soups, huge wraps, juicy steaks, the Wells' own smokehouse ribs, and as always, the best burgers in town. See, we told you it wasn't going to be easy. Log on to wellingtonspubandgrill.com for daily lunch and evening specials. With so many choices for lunch and dinner, you can never come to this well too often.
This is the SmackDown!
If you missed a minute of America's smash hit,
I've gotten the chills all over my body. That's how amazing your voice was.
it's not too late to catch up on the show critics say you just can't stop watching.
But darling, I still catch a grenade for you.
You won't believe believe the celebrity we reveal in the next all-new episode.
Oh my God!
The Masked Singer, all new Wednesdays, and catch up anytime on demand or Fox Now.
And welcome back to the Tom Sawyer Show here on HBC TV 25. We're brought to you by Wellington's Pub and Grill. Alex Evans joins us. Thanks for being here today.
Yeah, no problem. It's awesome.
Now, when we have somebody on for the first time, as usual, we always go backwards, but this time we're going to start kind of towards the end here because you had your last home game as a Warrior this past weekend, and you had to fight and work hard to get to that situation. Tell us a little bit about the injury you've been working on and what that's been like to come back from your injury.
Yeah, so this past spring in spring ball, I ruptured my Achilles with about 3 practices left, something like that, pretty close to the end there. And that was pretty deflating. Definitely being a senior, looking forward to getting, going into your senior season. That's definitely, deflating for sure. And then just talking to coach after surgery in late April, we just talked about what my plan was, and I'm definitely all in and was still wanting to be a part of the team, and being a part of it as much as possible was something that I wanted to do. And I've given so much to this program that there was no chance that I was going to let my senior year just quit and get out of the way. But every day it's just been day by day, grinding and trying to get back to where I was before the injury happened. And thankfully, it worked out in my favor that I was able to get out there for a few snaps on Saturday, and that was definitely bittersweet. Just being out there with the guys was just awesome, and then playing again. But then the loss was very tough to handle. But it was awesome, and I'm so thankful that Coach had trust in me and faith in me to continue playing and to give me another shot, and I was able to get out there. So that was awesome.
When we had that conversation, Justin, one of the things you go by is, he's ready to graduate. He could have graduated last year and getting ready to go into an engineering career. So you have that conversation about, is it the right time or not? And I could tell by looking at him in his eyes, like, I still want to do this, because coming off an Achilles injury, most injuries are hard. An Achilles injury for a football player is really tough. And I wasn't so sure. And I said, well, if we can get one play, let's go do it. So go back to the game, and you stand there for the national anthem, and you get ready to go on the field for the first time. What was that like?
That was just really nerve-wracking for sure. I mean, even being a senior and playing in some big-time games, definitely the butterflies were there, and it was just like, wow, I'm doing this again. And it was nerve-wracking, but after getting out there and the first couple plays that I got, I kind of settled back into things and kind of felt natural being back out there again.
I know another person had a big smile on their face was your family, and your dad, especially. I've gotten to know so well over the years. But what's it like for your family to know how much you went through, and then to see how excited you were on the field?
I mean, it's definitely amazing for him just to see me get back out there. I mean, he told me after the game that he didn't even think back in April that I was going to be playing, and that the fact that I got back and played 8 snaps on senior day, and now even going forward and possibly playing again this next weekend, he said it's just all just icing on the cake. And it's just like he's told me he's so proud of me and how much work that I've put into it. So.
Absolutely.
When you look back on your Warrior career, obviously this is going to be a big day too, but what are some of the highlights from your Warrior career?
Definitely my first sack was against Augustana, up at Augustana. Tripped up Trey Hyde for my first career sack. I can still remember that play very vividly. Also, interception against Wayne State during homecoming a few years ago. That was definitely another play that definitely stands out in my career here at Winona State. So.
All right, as Coach Sawyer said, engineering is your chosen field as you go forward. What is in your future, and does football hold any spot in your future?
So engineering, hopefully I'm looking to get back towards the Milwaukee area, which is where I'm from. So hopefully I can find a job somewhere over there. And then football, yeah, definitely. I would love to join a company that would design or create any sort of sporting equipments or things like that. So football is one of them, with shoulder pads and helmets and different equipment like that. They all use different composite materials and interesting things like that. So definitely in my future, hopefully. So.
Yeah, last one I have for you is, working. I know you work part-time here at RTP here in Winona. How do you balance working, being an engineering student, which is no joke, and then being a collegiate athlete? How do you put all that together?
Just definitely time management. I haven't played a video game, I don't think, in 5 years of my time here. So definitely time management, and then just being committed to it. It's a job, like being a student is a job, being a football, player is a job, and actually working is a job as well. So you just gotta, commit your time to it, and hopefully it all works out, and I think it has so far. So.
Absolutely.
All right, well, thank you for being here today, and congratulations on coming back. It was great to see you back on the field, and good luck next week.
Awesome, thank you.
All right, we're going to take a break here on the Tom Sawyer Show. When we come back, Landon Jacobson will join us right after this.
The Big 12 is not for the weak. You face Red River shootouts and destructive cyclones, with Cowboys and Longhorns ready to take you down. Every week, you fight or surrender. Win or lose, you do. Or you don't. There is no other choice. Big 12 football on FS1, or watch anywhere on the Fox Sports app.
With so many new items on the menu at Wellington's Pub and Grill, you're in for some tough decisions. 6 different salads, homemade soups, huge wraps, juicy steaks, the Wells' own smokehouse ribs, and as always, the best burgers in town. See, we told you it wasn't going to be easy. Log on to wellingtonspubandgrill.com for daily lunch and evening specials. With so many choices for lunch and dinner, you can never come to this well too often.
And welcome back to the Tom Sawyer Show here on HBC TV 25. We're brought to you by Wellington's Pub and Grill. Landon Jacobson is back. Thanks for joining us here.
Thanks for having me.
All right, I want to ask you, we've talked about, players going out with injury and then having to come in, and we talked about Sam Santiago-Lloyd going out with injury, and so you get the bulk of the carries this week. Tell us a little bit about that kind of bittersweet type of moment, because obviously you've had to suffer some injuries, but now you're coming in for somebody that had an injury. Kind of talk us how that all works.
Yeah, I mean, anytime someone gets injured, it's a terrible thing. No one wishes injury upon anybody, even if it's your opponent. But when your teammate and one of your good buddies gets hurt, it's a terrible thing. Obviously, I love playing football, so I'm always ready to go. But when it's under those circumstances, it's not a good thing.
How hard is it to focus and to maybe put that out of your mind, because you have a job to do, but yet you're concerned about your teammate that's on the sidelines?
Yeah, I mean, you definitely think about it, but knowing Sam and knowing how much of a beast he is, you don't really worry about it. He's doing fine, and that he knows. I mean, every time I come off the sideline, he's helping me. He's telling me what he's seeing, and we're just talking. So. It's not really about the injury anymore when we're still in the middle of a competitive game, because he knows he's going to be fine, so he's just helping me when we're trying to get the dub. So.
All right.
Yeah, you look at that group, obviously a very tight-knit group, and Johnny Chamberlain's another senior in that group, and Javian was another senior in the group, and so you start looking at that room full of really, really good athletes. Landon, you're kind of the leader of the bunch because you've been there the longest with the guys, but how important is it for your role in that room to keep everybody motivated, and how tight that is?
Yeah, I mean, even though the circumstances aren't what I've been working for forever, but I mean, with the group of guys we have in there, it doesn't really matter. When we go out to practice every day, it's kind of been my thing throughout the last 5 years, kind of just being the high energy, high motivation person, keeping everybody going, and I've kind of just fit into that role, and I've taken it and made the most out of it.
Well, I was just going to say, let's go back to the first day of practice this year, and we had a medical situation that you went through, and I know we've talked about injuries, but that was pretty severe opportunity or not opportunity, but a thing that we went through together, and with you and me and the family and all that, and then to come back from that, how special was that for you and your family? Yeah,
no, that was big. I've been working all summer, all off season, and I made some pretty big strides, but I just feel like that one day and that was we don't even know what really happened, but that kind of took a lot out of me. But having the support from coach and all my teammates, it was pretty easy to get back to. Not saying that it didn't take a lot out of me physically, because I think it did for a little while, but I was able to get back up on my feet and get going. So looking back on it, it was unfortunate, but I had a great support system, and you and my family. So.
I want to ask you about your Warrior career. What are you going to remember most? Is it game day? Is it practices? Just the day-to-day with all the guys, the brotherhood that we kind of talked about last week?
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely going to remember practices and game day and all that, but a part for me is I've been living with my best friends for the last 5 years. My teammates, I've been living with all 5 of my teammates, 5 of my teammates. And after practices, after games, coming home, sitting on the couch, watching film together, talking about the game, that's probably the biggest thing I'll remember, is just reminiscing with my boys after each individual day.
The last question I have was probably, I think, the most exhilarating part of being a running back, and that's taking the ball in the end zone. And you have a knack for that end zone, and you run the ball hard. Why don't you just tell the viewers on how cool that is and what that feels like to actually get the ball in the paint?
Yeah, I mean, as an offense, obviously the point is to score points. And running back, you take it into the end zone, and you kind of get the swag and you get the just the excitement. But when you know you're running in front of or behind 5 great O-linemen, you got fullbacks who are, a little bit nutty, and that's just why you follow them and you trust them, because you know they're going to do their job. And you get in the end zone and we party in the paint. Everybody gets excited. It's like your touchdown, but it's for the team. At least when I get in there, it's like I didn't do that on my own. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of like a showing of the offense. It's every time you get in there, you get excited and you celebrate it, because it's great, and it doesn't always happen as much as you want. So.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us here today, and good luck against Concordia next week.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to take a break here on the Tom Sawyer Show, and when we come back, we'll talk about next week's opponent, Concordia St. Paul. That's coming up right after this.
With so many new items on the menu at Wellington's Pub and Grill, you're in for some tough decisions. 6 different salads, homemade soups, huge wraps, juicy steaks, the Wells' own smokehouse ribs, and as always, the best burgers in town. See, we told you it wasn't going to be easy. Log on to wellingtonspubandgrill.com for daily lunch and evening specials. With so many choices for lunch and dinner, you can never come to this well too often.
Profit over patience is a different kind of battlefield. One where we need to keep fighting. Keep making a difference.
Go blue!
No matter what the odds are. But we will get through all of it together.
The Resident, Tuesdays on Fox. Watch anytime on demand or Fox Now.
And welcome back to the Tom Sawyer Show here on HBC TV 25. We're brought to you by Wellington's Pub and Grill. I want to talk a little bit more about postseason, because obviously this Augustana loss hurt and kind of knocks you out of the NCAA playoffs. But there is a possibility that the Mineral Water Bowl, if you're able to beat Concordia, that you would have get a slot in that. Can you walk us through all the possibilities for that?
Yeah, there is. The Mineral Water Bowl down in Excelsior Springs, Missouri is an opportunity for us to play somebody in the South. It's not just tied to the MIAA now like it was in the past. But what would we have to do is we'd have to get Sioux Falls eliminated because in head-to-head competition they beat us. So if we were tied, they would go. Duluth still has, they only have 3 losses right now, so if they continue to win and we continue to win, we'd have it like a 3-way tie. And then, Augustana could get beat too. So, there's a lot of things still in the mix with going into the last game. So we'll see what happens, but right now we'd have to have Sioux Falls either get in the tournament or get beat. Otherwise they would probably go. But it's another opportunity. Like I tell our guys, I'd love to play one more game with these guys. And I'd like to, find a way that we can get through a whole season with all of our guys healthy and see how that would go. But it's part of college football, and but I'd just love to give our guys one more chance if we could.
All right, yeah, we'll talk about injuries in just a little bit, but this next week you go to Concordia St. Paul to end the season at Seafoam Stadium and the regular season. It's a noon game. Tell us a little bit about what you know about Concordia St. Paul.
Well, they're a pretty scrappy bunch, and they've gotten better over the last couple of years. Shannon Courier came back, and he had won a couple championships back in the mid-2000s. He's back here now the last couple of years, and they got it going a little bit, especially defensively. They got the #1 defensive end in the country, leads the country in sacks, career sacks. Garrett, and so he's a good player. We've seen him the last 2 years, so we know we're getting our hands on. But again, we got to go back to establishing the run and playing hard-nosed football. They're one of those teams that you just got to do things right and keep your cool. especially on the road up there. So if we manage things right and take care of our business, I think we'll be just fine. But it's going to be a dogfight, and we know what we got coming is a good football team, and they've knocked out some people along the way. So and they played Augustana to a 1-point game as well. So Augie beat them by 1 the week before they beat us by 1. So it's going to be a toss-up, and the team that does things right the most is going to win.
All right, let's talk about the injury situation, because obviously we saw there were a lot of injuries, and it kind of happens here at the end of the year, and you were working through all those last year. That's kind of been the theme for this season, coming back from those types of injuries. What's the injury report right now?
Well, it just like we talked about, we're not sure about Sam yet. We don't know if he'll be back. Owen probably won't play this week. That knee is pretty sore. So Devon's still out. We still have a couple other guys that are out. But it just gives other kids opportunities. It's, like you said, it's part of the game. We got to the midway point, and even like Alex and Landon that were here today, they came back from injuries, and so we were getting guys back. It was like, okay, we're almost at full strength, and then Devon went down, and then it started kind of trickling in again. And I don't know what it is. Our training and what we do is better than it's ever been. It's just one of those things, because it's like broken bones and weird things, and it's not soft tissue like it used to be in the old days. So we just got to keep working, and those things are part of the game. Unfortunately, the injury bug has really hurt us the last couple years. But going into this last game, we're going to put 58 guys in the bus, and we're going to go play. And what we have in the bus is plenty enough to win the football game.
All right, and then another Thursday luncheon. Tell us a little bit about
Yeah, we'll finish up our luncheons this week. We've had a lot of fun with that over at the Riverport Inn. It's at noon on Thursdays, and we'll see if these guys want to join us for that. But kind of how we've been doing it this year. But it's a lot of fun, and I appreciate those who come out and the support that the Riverport Inn gives us each week.
All right, well, thank you for coming in this week, and good luck against Concordia.
Thank you.
All right, thank you for watching the Tom Sawyer Show here on HBC TV 25. We'll see you next week.
There are a lot more sad moments than happy moments. Never could you have prepared me for what we deal with here.
This is what we do, and this is what we've always done.
Get your little head. To get to give such an incredible dog to a home filled with so much love.
Oh. You're home. You're home, girl.
This is something that we will remember forever.
With so many new items on the menu at Wellington's Pub and Grill, you're in for some tough decisions. 6 different salads, homemade soups, huge wraps, juicy steaks, the Wells' own smokehouse ribs, and as always, the best burgers in town. See, we told you it wasn't going to be easy. Log on to wellingtonspubandgrill.com for daily lunch and evening specials. With so many choices for lunch and dinner, you can never come to this well too often.
Get ready to rock the block. 4 top designers, 4 suburban homes. The renovation showdown is on.
This is my turn.
I don't like to lose.
This is gonna be fun.
I'm gonna crush the competition.
It's time to rock the block!
Rock the Block. All new Monday night at 9 on HGTV.